Welcome to Taurus Astro. Before we dive in, let me say this: what you're about to watch is not just a video created by artificial intelligence. Every insight here comes from real Vedic astrology, backed by study, reflection, and years of learning. Yes, we use modern tools to make this content more accessible, but behind it all is genuine knowledge, not shortcuts. If you're someone who wants to go beyond surface-level astrology, if you're curious about how the deeper forces of your chart affect your relationships and life path, then you're in the right place. Please take a second to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the bell so you don't miss future content made with heart and purpose. Today, we're exploring one of the most important parts of your birth chart, the seventh lord. Many think the seventh house is only about marriage, but in truth, it represents so much more: your partnerships, your business alliances, your agreements, and the way others mirror your energy. It shows how you connect, how you commit, and how others challenge and shape you. The planet ruling your seventh house, the seventh lord, holds the key. Where it's placed in your chart reveals volumes about the nature of your connections and the direction your partnerships will take. It can highlight harmony or conflict, stability or constant shifts. This video will walk you through what it means when your seventh lord is placed in each of the 12 houses. And remember, this isn't just about prediction, it's about understanding yourself on a deeper level. Let's begin. When the seventh lord is placed in the first house of a birth chart, it creates a powerful and deeply influential connection between the native and their partner, or the idea of partnership in general. This placement often indicates that marriage, business relationships, and partnerships in life become central themes for the native, shaping not only their personal happiness but also their growth and success. One of the first things noticeable about this combination is that these individuals are often very relationship-oriented. They tend to marry earlier than most people around them, although early depends on social and cultural context. Marriage is usually a turning point in their life. Once the spouse enters their life, things begin to move more smoothly. The spouse tends to fill in gaps the native cannot manage alone, whether emotionally, socially, or practically. If the native is introverted or passive, the partner may be more outgoing and driven, creating a natural balance in the relationship. In many cases, the spouse becomes a great source of support, helping the native overcome life's challenges. This placement also suggests that the native is naturally drawn to partnerships and feels more complete in the presence of another person. There is a tendency to share responsibilities and work together toward mutual goals. The relationship, especially marriage, activates many positive changes in life, from emotional growth to professional advancement. The spouse often has a strong influence on decisions, and their opinion is considered valuable in every step of life. However, this same closeness and similarity in personalities can sometimes lead to misunderstandings. Because both partners might share similar traits, such as temperament or emotional responses, they may struggle to complement each other. While they may enjoy activities together and share values, when it comes to balancing strengths and weaknesses, the support can fall short. The life partner may feel like a mirror rather than a complement, which can make resolving conflicts more challenging. Still, the bond tends to be solid, and even when disagreements arise, there is loyalty and mutual dedication. In terms of intimacy, people with this placement tend to be affectionate and sexually expressive, often able to deeply satisfy their partner and maintain a fulfilling connection. On a psychological level, they are very focused on making the relationship work, often taking a visionary or leadership role in setting the direction of their married life or partnerships. They may be workaholics or very driven individuals who plan and strategize not just for their own growth but for the happiness and success of their partner as well. This combination also brings strong business acumen. These natives often have a good sense of negotiation, contracts, and trade. They understand how to build relationships with clients or business associates and can handle professional partnerships with efficiency. Their approach to work is often entrepreneurial, and they are usually the driving force behind joint ventures. They can also be skilled at balancing aesthetics and comfort in their environment, especially if Venus is involved in this placement. There are some cautions with this yoga. If malefic planets influence the first or seventh house, or if the seventh lord itself is afflicted, the relationship may become problematic. In such cases, the spouse might become overbearing, too controlling, or overly involved in the native's personal decisions. The native may feel they've lost personal space, leading to emotional strain. If Mars is involved in this position, for example, the person might become very intense and forceful in relationships. While they will still be passionate and protective, there can be frequent arguments or power struggles if the partner cannot match their energy or enthusiasm. On a more practical level, this placement can bring frequent travel into the native's life. This could be due to work, family responsibilities, or even personal preferences. Many of these individuals find greater success when they live away from their birthplace. Remaining in the hometown may limit their potential, whereas moving to a new location often brings prosperity and better opportunities. Professionally and personally, relocation can open up their path. There can also be some physical health concerns linked to this placement, especially in early life. Some natives may face accidents or long-term physical challenges from a young age, depending on the condition of the seventh lord and its aspects. Despite these complexities, seventh lord in the first house usually gives a strong, supportive relationship dynamic. These individuals care deeply about their partners, are willing to work hard to make things succeed, and tend to take on leadership in both personal and business partnerships. When not afflicted, it's one of the better placements for enjoying a meaningful, balanced, and cooperative married life. When the seventh lord is placed in the second house in a birth chart, it creates a deeply transformative yet complex influence on marriage, finances, and overall family life. This placement connects two Maraka houses, the seventh and the second, which are both capable of impacting the native's health and stability in relationships. The effects of this placement depend heavily on whether the seventh lord is benefic or afflicted, as well as the condition of other planetary influences and ongoing dashas. One of the most noticeable outcomes of this placement is the financial benefit that often comes through the life partner. The spouse may come from a wealthy, well-established family, or may be professionally active and supportive in terms of money. Many natives with this placement experience a significant rise in wealth after marriage. This can manifest through inheritance, joint ventures, or partnerships. The spouse may also be connected to family business, the food industry, or communication-related fields. They often possess qualities like being family-oriented, financially savvy, and supportive in professional or business matters. Some may even bring sudden financial gains or unlock unexpected opportunities for the native, especially when benefic planets are involved. However, this placement is not without its challenges. The seventh lord going 8 houses away from itself indicates transformation. Marriage can bring drastic changes in the native's life, either uplifting or unsettling. While some see wealth increase and quality of life improve, others may experience emotional turbulence or health issues. Frequent illnesses, throat problems, or digestive issues can surface, especially if the seventh lord is under malefic influence or during unfavorable dashas. The native's own family can become a source of marital discord. Living in a joint family setup often creates problems for such individuals. These natives are advised to create an independent family unit with their spouse and children after marriage. Being overly dependent on family opinions or involving extended relatives in personal decisions can severely impact the marriage. The marital journey is often marked by instability. If the seventh lord is afflicted, it can lead to frequent separations, emotional conflicts, or even permanent divorce. In some cases, there can be the presence of illicit relationships or multiple marriages, especially when certain planetary combinations indicate strong karmic ties or unresolved issues from past lives. The aspect on the 8th house intensifies emotional complexities and can bring hidden matters to the surface. Despite these difficulties, many individuals with this placement are intelligent, articulate, and capable of earning well through social connections, partnerships, or artistic pursuits like writing and poetry. If they engage in family professions or collaborative ventures, they often find success. The partner, in many cases, has refined communication skills, soft-spoken if ruled by Venus, Mercury, or Moon, straightforward and blunt if ruled by Saturn. In business, this placement can be highly beneficial. It often indicates the potential for sudden success through contracts or collaborations that bring long-term financial rewards. Over time, the joint wealth between the native and their spouse is likely to expand, provided the energies are directed positively. Overall, this placement has the power to elevate the native's financial and emotional life through marriage, but it also demands maturity, independence from family interference, and careful navigation of emotional dynamics. Its dual nature, both promising and testing, makes it a placement of growth through transformation. When the seventh lord is placed in the third house in a birth chart, it creates a dynamic and often challenging setup in Vedic astrology. The seventh house represents marriage, partnerships, and committed relationships, while the third house deals with communication, efforts, siblings, and short travels. This combination tends to bring a mix of intense desire, karmic struggles, and personal growth, but only if the individual is willing to work consistently on their relationship. This placement often indicates that the spouse is an expressive, communicative, and socially active person. They may have a strong presence on social media or be involved in areas related to media, writing, or public relations. Such a partner is often outgoing and well-connected, and they may travel frequently. Because of this, there might be physical distance between the couple, but that gap can be bridged through open and consistent communication. Communication is not just helpful, it is essential for the survival and growth of the relationship. In this case, marriage under this placement may require extra effort to even come into existence. For many people with this combination, getting married could involve convincing family members or overcoming cultural or logistical hurdles. In some cases, the spouse may be introduced through siblings, neighbors, community members, or even workplace connections. The marriage might start in an unconventional way, possibly through arranged setups or social introductions that evolve into meaningful relationships. However, this placement is not without its dark sides. Since the third house also has malefic undertones and is closely linked to desire and struggle, the native might face regular ups and downs in their married life. Verbal arguments and even physical fights can occur if both partners do not handle challenges with maturity. There can be a tendency for affairs or flirtatious behavior outside the marriage, especially if communication breaks down or the emotional bond weakens. Another challenge with this placement is the imbalance of attention. The native may often focus more on siblings, friends, or social engagements than on their spouse. This can lead to neglect, emotional distance, and misunderstandings. In some cases, people with this placement hurt their partner unintentionally during arguments or stressful times. Even if the spouse is well-meaning and committed, the native's actions or distractions can create bitterness and resentment over time. Financially, this position also brings complexities. The native might spend a lot of money on friends or younger siblings, which could create strain in the marriage. They should be cautious when investing money based on the partner's advice, or when giving the spouse full control over financial decisions, as this could lead to disputes or losses. Travel-related risks such as accidents or theft are also something to watch out for. Despite the challenges, there are remedies and lifestyle choices that can help balance the relationship. Taking short trips or vacations with the spouse, going on pilgrimages, or spending quality time together regularly can bring emotional closeness and spiritual bonding. These experiences can help reset the relationship and allow both partners to reconnect at a deeper level. Engaging in shared hobbies, fitness routines, or even joint business ventures can also serve as strong unifying forces in the relationship. From a career perspective, this placement suggests that stability is key. Jobs with a fixed schedule or routine can benefit the native, while professions involving frequent travel or inconsistent hours can negatively impact both health and marriage. Interestingly, many couples with this placement find success by launching small businesses or digital ventures together, like YouTube channels or e-commerce shops. These joint efforts can build both emotional and financial compatibility. Ultimately, this is a karmic placement that demands conscious effort. The native must learn to continuously work on their marriage, communicate effectively, and manage distractions. There may be a temptation to escape or look for quicker solutions when things get tough, whether in relationships or business partnerships. But growth comes only through consistent action, patience, and emotional maturity. If handled wisely, this placement can become a source of personal evolution and long-term partnership success. When the Lord of the seventh house is placed in the fourth house in Vedic astrology, it often signifies a strong emotional and domestic bond between partners. People with this combination are likely to marry someone they genuinely love or desire. Even if it's not officially a love marriage, there is usually a deep connection and mutual understanding between the couple. Often, they share a live-in relationship before marriage, or they may build a strong, intimate connection over time. This bond tends to be emotionally satisfying, nurturing, and committed. The spouse is usually someone who enjoys being at home or working from home, and may have a very homely, caring nature. This person tends to be highly sentimental and emotionally expressive. Their reactions can sometimes be intense even over small issues because they process experiences through deep emotions. The partner may be involved in fields like real estate, interior design, education, or work related to the public and media. They often bring a nurturing, motherly quality into the relationship and play a vital role in building emotional security within the home. This placement suggests that the marriage has the potential to significantly improve both emotional well-being and material stability. After marriage, people with this combination often experience an upgrade in lifestyle and assets. For example, moving into a better home or shifting from a small car to a more luxurious vehicle can be common. The partner contributes greatly to improving the quality of life, and the couple often works together to build a stronger foundation. The fourth house governs home and property, so real estate investments and home comfort become important areas of focus after marriage. However, challenges can arise in the form of interference or complications from family members. The involvement of extended family, especially the influence of parents, can create tensions between the couple. It is essential to set healthy boundaries to maintain peace in the marriage. If these boundaries are not respected, family interference can disturb the otherwise harmonious connection. Also, if the seventh lord is afflicted by malefic influences, the relationship between the spouse and the native's mother might become tense. It could demand consistent effort from both sides to maintain harmony. One should be cautious about property and vehicle-related issues. There may be losses or trouble stemming from these areas due to the spouse or joint decisions. This placement also warns of potential accidents involving vehicles, or bad investments if not handled wisely. Therefore, practical and financial decisions related to home and transport should be made carefully. Despite these issues, mutual love and devotion are strong, and these qualities can help overcome most difficulties. This setup also suggests that the spouse plays a major karmic role in your life. There may be a spiritual or emotional connection to your mother that your spouse helps to carry forward or resolve. Sometimes, your partner may be deeply involved in helping or caring for your mother, even sacrificing their own comfort to do so. These efforts are not just physical but carry karmic significance and are often linked to dharma or spiritual duty in this lifetime. Mentally, the native tends to find peace and stability after marriage. The presence of the spouse brings emotional support, comfort, and a sense of belonging. They often act like a personal sounding board, someone who listens and offers emotional refuge. This calm and composed influence leads to greater inner balance and clarity. The relationship acts like a grounding force that makes the native feel more at home in themselves and in their surroundings. This placement may also indicate that the couple could meet in a professional setting or through some kind of work-related environment. The fourth house has a public aspect, so the first meeting could happen at an event, seminar, or a similar social space. The spouse may be more ambitious or successful professionally, especially if a strong planet governs the seventh house. Even if this creates a power imbalance, it usually translates into mutual growth rather than conflict, unless afflicted planets create ego clashes. Lastly, this is a powerful placement for emotional bonding, loyalty, and shared accomplishments. As long as both partners reciprocate love and respect, the relationship can flourish beautifully. The connection is rooted in emotional care and physical comfort, and over time, it leads to prosperity, a stable home life, and spiritual growth. Despite occasional challenges, this placement can offer one of the most nurturing and enduring marital experiences. When the seventh lord is placed in the fifth house in a birth chart, it creates a complex and layered influence on marriage, love, and personal fulfillment. This combination often suggests a deep karmic connection between the individual and their future spouse. The fifth house represents love, creativity, children, and self-expression, while the seventh house rules over partnerships and marriage. When these two houses connect, the story of love and union becomes intense and meaningful. However, the results can swing from extremely positive to deeply challenging, depending on the maturity and choices of the individual. In many cases, this placement can indicate a love marriage or marriage to someone who deeply stimulates your intellect and emotions. There is a natural mental connection with the partner, often rooted in shared interests, values, or creative pursuits. These people are drawn to their spouses because of their intelligence, charm, or liveliness. The partner may work in fields related to entertainment, education, or children. In the beginning, the relationship feels exciting and full of possibilities, and life may seem to move in a more promising direction once the partner enters. However, this placement also comes with caution. While the attraction and romantic connection might be strong initially, problems often start after marriage. These problems are rarely just emotional misunderstandings, they are more serious in nature. Usually related to finances, career instability, or external influences. In fact, despite the love and romantic highs, the marriage can become strained when daily life pressures mount. Some people with this placement may even face issues of infidelity, as both partners, especially the native, might have a high sexual drive that could lead to temptation outside the marriage. Children play a critical role in the outcome of this placement. If the couple decides to have children, it often adds stress rather than joy to the relationship. As the children grow, the pressure on the marriage can increase, especially if financial resources are limited. In some extreme cases, children might even be seen as a burden, and this can create distance between the couple. Interestingly, if the couple chooses not to have children, many of the issues are reduced, and the relationship becomes more manageable, although not necessarily harmonious. Even then, ego clashes, misunderstandings, and a sense of emotional distance can remain. This placement can be both a blessing and a test. On one hand, it can bring wealth, success, and emotional fulfillment after marriage. The spouse could be financially wise, well-educated, and a strong advisor in life. Many people experience positive transformations in their careers, social networks, and overall happiness after meeting their partner. They might even feel that their wishes and dreams are more achievable because of their spouse's support and insight. In this sense, the marriage becomes a turning point in life, opening doors that were previously closed. But to gain those benefits, individuals with this placement must be cautious and deliberate about their decisions. They should avoid rushing into marriage, especially if the fifth house is influenced by air signs or unstable planetary aspects. Taking time to truly understand the partner, build a solid foundation, and align life goals is essential. Rushing into commitment without clarity can turn this potentially beautiful connection into a painful one. The karmic link is strong, but how it's handled makes all the difference. In terms of health, this placement sometimes shows problems related to the stomach, digestion, or reproductive organs. These physical symptoms can reflect the emotional stress in the marriage, especially if the relationship becomes strained over time. Because sexual energy is heightened in these individuals, it must be directed wisely, or it could create friction and distrust within the relationship. Maintaining open communication and healthy boundaries is key to avoiding destructive patterns. For those coming from traditional or conservative backgrounds, the challenges of this placement may be easier to tolerate. Cultural expectations, family support, and societal values can help the couple stay together despite the hardships. But for individuals with modern or liberal views, the dissatisfaction may feel unbearable, and the marriage may collapse if not handled with maturity and compromise. Still, even in such cases, mutual respect and a shared vision for life can help the couple overcome obstacles. In summary, the seventh lord in the fifth house offers a karmic opportunity to grow through love and partnership. It can either elevate your life to new heights or test your emotional and practical strength. Success in such a marriage depends greatly on self-awareness, thoughtful decision-making, and emotional discipline. If these are present, the relationship can be deeply rewarding and filled with purpose. But without them, it can lead to disappointment and regret. Understanding the deeper purpose behind this placement helps unlock its potential and navigate the complexities of love and commitment with greater wisdom. When the Lord of the seventh house is placed in the sixth house, it creates a very complex and delicate dynamic in a person's chart. The seventh house signifies marriage, partnerships, and committed relationships, while the sixth house represents conflicts, debts, diseases, legal battles, and service. So, when the seventh Lord moves into the sixth house, it shows a strong clash between love and conflict, between harmony and struggle. This placement often leads to a relationship that is full of arguments, misunderstandings, and challenges. There may be daily fights, even over small matters, and the couple may develop a tendency to argue rather than resolve issues. In some cases, these disagreements may turn serious and continuous, affecting the emotional connection and leading to long-term stress in the relationship. The love that once existed can fade with time, especially if other malefic influences are involved. One of the most common outcomes is physical or emotional separation. The partner may be constantly away, traveling for work or involved in demanding professions like law, medicine, military, or civil services. While this distance can reduce day-to-day friction and allow some peace, it also leads to a lack of intimacy and closeness, which is essential for a healthy marriage. In some rare, more positive cases, the partner becomes a pillar of support during life's battles, helping the native overcome obstacles. But this is only when benefic influences, exalted planets, or positive yogas are present. This position can also reflect a relationship dynamic where one or both partners are involved in service-based professions. The spouse may be hardworking, constantly dealing with pressure, deadlines, and duties. If the energy of the sixth house is channeled positively, the couple may work together like a team, dealing with struggles hand in hand. However, if afflicted, the sixth house can turn the spouse into an enemy, someone who not only argues but may even act against the native's well-being. The sixth house is also a house of legal affairs, so when the seventh Lord is placed here, legal battles and divorces are a real possibility. Many people with this placement have reported going through separations, often due to external interference from extended family, servants, co-workers, or social circles. Affairs with office colleagues or household help may arise, particularly if the seventh Lord is afflicted by malefic planets like Mars or Rahu. It's crucial for the native to maintain clear boundaries and avoid situations that might create distrust in the relationship. There may also be health concerns either for the native or the partner. Problems related to the spine, digestive system, or excretory functions are common. If the Lagna or first house is afflicted as well, health issues may worsen after marriage. It's important for such natives to follow a disciplined and spiritually balanced life. Meditation, yoga, and spiritual practices can help bring mental clarity and peace in a life otherwise filled with stress. Some partners under this placement might display a strong fighting spirit. They stand up for justice, serve others, and may even fight legal or social battles for a cause. While this can be a positive trait, it may also mean that your partner is constantly in battle mode and brings that combative energy into the marriage. Even when they mean well, the energy in the relationship may feel intense or draining. If you're not yet married and have this placement, it's advised to look for a spouse who is hardworking, independent, and already involved in a demanding career. This helps maintain some space in the relationship, which ironically can reduce friction. However, if the partner is at home or unemployed, the lack of space may lead to constant bickering and emotional unrest. Creating personal space becomes essential. Lastly, not all is negative with this placement. If strong benefic influences are present and the seventh Lord is well placed by dignity or conjunction, the partner may help bring financial stability and even success through unconventional businesses like pet care, legal consulting, or health services. The spouse may help the native grow in areas where they struggle. However, this placement always requires maturity, patience, and self-awareness to navigate the sharp edges it brings into relationships. When the seventh Lord is placed in the seventh house in a Vedic birth chart, it creates a powerful and dynamic influence on the native's relationships, partnerships, and overall social life. This placement strengthens the seventh house, giving it more power and significance in shaping one's marriage and business relations. The seventh house represents spouse, marital happiness, partnerships, public dealings, and legal contracts, so when its lord is sitting in its own domain, the native becomes deeply tied to these areas throughout life. Marriage becomes an important aspect of life for these individuals. The partner tends to be strong-willed, influential, and successful in their own right. Many times, the spouse could be more accomplished or come from a more prominent background. In relationships, such natives often find themselves influenced or even guided by their partner. The spouse may act like a mentor, advisor, or teacher, especially when Jupiter or Venus is involved. These partners may help the native grow spiritually, emotionally, or professionally. This combination can also bring strong romantic tendencies. It's not uncommon for such individuals to have multiple relationships before or even after marriage, particularly if the seventh house or its lord is afflicted by malefic planets. Affairs outside marriage are very common in such cases, and these affairs can sometimes involve close family friends or distant relatives. If the chart shows additional afflictions like a troubled eighth house or a heavily afflicted Lagna lord, these extramarital affairs may lead to a breakup or divorce. However, even in these cases, sexual compatibility and mutual enjoyment are typically present within the marriage for as long as it lasts. In a clean and benefic chart, where there is no affliction to the seventh house or its lord, the person may have romantic experiences before marriage, but eventually settles into a successful and happy married life. Even if there is turbulence, as long as Jupiter or Venus aspects the seventh house or is placed there, the marriage is likely to survive and flourish. These benefic planets bring wisdom, harmony, and love into the relationship, countering the negative effects of other influences. People with this placement also tend to have an excellent understanding of others and a good sense of business and social interactions. They are generally well-liked and are able to build strong networks. In business partnerships, the native is often the one who must adapt or compromise, especially if the partner or the organization is larger or more established. If the native is trying to build a business or a brand, they may find success by collaborating with more prominent partners. This combination can lead to the creation of wealth and long-term financial stability, especially when linked to other positive yogas in the chart. Still, the presence of the seventh lord in its own house does not guarantee a smooth ride. Emotional instability, ego clashes, or power struggles may occur, particularly if the moon is involved, making the native or their partner moody and reactive. Mars in the seventh house can bring dominance issues or fights unless softened by the influence of benefic planets. Submission, compromise, and emotional maturity become essential tools to maintain peace in the relationship. Interestingly, this placement often indicates that the partner reflects back everything happening in the native's life. If the native is growing, succeeding, or struggling, the partner mirrors these experiences, creating a deep psychological connection between them. In many cases, the spouse comes from a past life connection or an old bond, which gives the relationship a sense of familiarity or destiny. Often, the meeting happens in a way that feels fated, like the person was always there, yet unnoticed until the right time. Life for these natives is full of highs and lows, with alternating periods of prosperity and challenge. Every few years, the situation may drastically change, and the native must be adaptable. Envy from others is common, especially from people who pretend to be well-wishers but secretly harbor jealousy. These individuals must be careful not to get involved in unnecessary disputes, as enemies may go to great lengths to harm their reputation or happiness. On a physical level, they must take care of their bones, joints, and overall vitality. Health issues can arise from nutritional deficiencies or lifestyle changes caused by sudden events like accidents. Despite these challenges, they tend to live vibrant lives, often filled with travel, new experiences, and social interactions. Their charming, virtuous, and soft-spoken nature attracts both admiration and envy, making it important for them to develop emotional intelligence and spiritual discipline. Ultimately, the seventh lord in the seventh house is a powerful placement. It can bring strong marital bonds, business success, and social influence, but only when the native learns to balance their desires, respect their partner, and rise above temptations. This placement gives both the potential for deep connection and the risk of emotional entanglement, making self-awareness and wise choices the key to fulfillment. When the seventh lord goes into the eighth house in a Vedic birth chart, it creates a powerful and complex impact on marriage, partnerships, and personal transformation. This is not a simple or straightforward placement. It is one of the more challenging combinations because the seventh house governs relationships and marriage, while the eighth house deals with secrets, transformation, longevity, sudden events, and joint assets. When these two houses connect, it sets the stage for a marriage that is transformative but not without its share of difficulties. In cases where the seventh lord is strong and well placed in the eighth house, the relationship can bring deep emotional bonds and shared wealth. Marriage can become a powerful source of transformation in a positive sense. Support from in-laws may be strong, and financial help through the spouse or their family can significantly elevate one's lifestyle. The couple may build wealth together and enjoy a stable financial life through joint assets or inheritance. These are the relationships where love can be so deep that both partners are willing to do anything for each other. There is a sense of loyalty, commitment, and unity that helps them withstand challenges together. However, when the seventh lord is weak, afflicted, or under the influence of malefic planets in the eighth house, the story is very different. In such situations, the marriage may be full of ups and downs, misunderstandings, and emotional instability. There is a constant undercurrent of tension that makes it difficult for the couple to enjoy peace or emotional security. Even if love exists between them, frequent fights, miscommunications, or external interferences can create deep wounds that may lead to temporary or permanent separation. The partner's health, psychological well-being, or hidden issues may also become burdens that affect the relationship. This placement also often brings sudden events into the native's married life, either gains or losses. There may be sudden wealth through inheritance or insurance, but also risks of losing it due to mismanagement or ignorance. Financial instability is common, and emotional stress may come from trying to adapt to a new family environment after marriage. If the native is not comfortable with their in-laws, it can become a lasting source of discomfort. In some cases, the partner may be very different in nature, possibly secretive, deeply involved in research, or interested in occult subjects, psychology, or alternative healing. Such interests can make the partner less available emotionally. Even though they are not necessarily harmful, the eighth house is also known to bring hidden elements to the surface. This could mean that the partner has certain secrets, whether emotional, financial, or related to past relationships, that may never be fully revealed. Even if the native believes they know everything about their spouse, it's possible that important aspects remain hidden for a lifetime. This is especially likely if Rahu, Ketu, or other malefic planets influence the seventh lord in the eighth house. The native may live in illusion about their relationship, not realizing that certain truths are being carefully hidden from them. In some charts, the placement of the seventh lord in the eighth house can also relate to health issues, either for the native or the spouse. The native might experience psychological stress, anxiety, or trauma due to challenges in the relationship. If the moon is involved, it increases the chances of emotional instability or mental health concerns either in the native or their spouse. Sudden emotional shocks or painful transformation moments are part of the marriage journey in this placement. There can also be spiritual or karmic elements involved in the relationship. The eighth house is deeply connected to karma and hidden energies. Marriage may not be purely romantic or physical, it may have a soul contract kind of quality, where both partners are meant to teach each other deep life lessons. These lessons, however, are not always easy or pleasant. Often, they come through loss, pain, or forced changes. For this reason, people with this placement should be emotionally and mentally prepared for transformation. Travel-related issues may also appear. People with this combination should be cautious while traveling, as they can become victims of theft or accidents. Living near their birthplace is generally recommended, and moving far away may bring instability or emotional discomfort. Investing in good insurance and being prepared for sudden changes is wise. These individuals should be alert in financial dealings and avoid trusting others blindly, especially in marriage. Lastly, while the placement of the seventh lord in the eighth house is not always favorable, it does not mean that a good marriage is impossible. With maturity, emotional intelligence, and awareness, the couple can build a deep bond that is rooted in transformation and healing. But the journey will not be easy, it will demand honesty, patience, and a willingness to evolve. If the couple faces the truth and works through the hidden challenges together, this placement can ultimately lead to a deeply meaningful and spiritually rich relationship. When the Lord of the seventh house is placed in the ninth house, it creates a dynamic and layered influence in both the areas of marriage and destiny. This placement shows that marriage can become a gateway to greater fortune, status, and recognition in life. After getting married, many people with this alignment see a significant improvement in their career, finances, and social standing. They may get promotions, recognition, or even sudden boosts in luck. However, while the external aspects of life improve, the internal dynamics of the marriage may be complicated. The spouse in this combination is often a person of discipline, high moral values, and structure. This can be beneficial in the long run. But in day-to-day life, it may feel rigid or controlling. As a result, marital life often experiences a pattern of highs and lows. For a few weeks everything may feel harmonious and joyful, but suddenly a disagreement can escalate into a serious argument. These ups and downs require maturity, patience, and a conscious effort to maintain harmony. It's important for both partners to avoid ego clashes and unnecessary arguments, as these can lead to deeper emotional strain. This placement also indicates that communication between partners plays a critical role. Since the seventh lord moves 3 houses away to the ninth, which is a house of thinking, philosophy, and expansion, the relationship thrives on intellectual connection. The partner may be spiritually inclined, interested in philosophy, or working in fields such as education, government, judiciary, or international travel. If both individuals can align mentally and spiritually, the relationship becomes more stable and fulfilling. Marriage may not happen easily or early with this placement. It often requires personal effort, whether through matchmaking platforms, personal networks, or by actively searching for a partner. In many cases, people find their spouse while pursuing higher education, through a teacher or mentor, or even through their father or a father-like figure. The father or boss may play a key role in arranging or suggesting the right match. This is not necessarily a typical love-marriage placement, but rather one that requires a conscious decision and work to make the relationship happen. Interestingly, many people with this placement experience shifts after marriage, such as relocation to another city or country. The change may be related to career, or it could be a mutual decision to start a new life in a different place. Travel becomes a significant theme in the marriage, and for some couples, starting a business together related to travel or tourism can bring good results. Working with a partner in these areas, especially under the guidance of a mentor or teacher, is highly supported by this planetary position. This placement also hints at a unique flow in life. Individuals may see bursts of success followed by long periods of stillness. They may achieve a lot within a few years, and then go through a decade of stability with little change, followed again by another phase of rapid growth. This teaches them not to become overconfident during high times, and not to become discouraged during slow periods. Understanding this rhythm can help them handle life more wisely. Social service is often a hidden blessing with this combination. The person may find spiritual satisfaction and even public recognition through acts of charity, especially if connected to religious or community service. Visiting temples, donating, or helping with religious causes can act as remedies to balance the marriage energy and bring peace to the relationship. One thing to watch out for is government-related problems. Displeasing people in power, or legal complications, may occasionally show up in the life of someone with this placement. Therefore, maintaining respect for institutions, elders, and systems is essential. Keeping a spiritual routine, such as visiting temples or connecting with gurus, helps to neutralize this energy. Lastly, if Saturn is present in the ninth house along with the seventh lord, it can create a more intense scenario. Saturn may delay marriage or introduce karmic patterns related to detachment or even celibacy. In some extreme cases, it may contribute to emotional isolation in marriage. That said, these effects depend heavily on other factors in the chart, like conjunctions and aspects. It's always important to consider the complete chart before drawing conclusions. When the seventh lord is placed in the 10th house in a birth chart, it creates a powerful connection between marriage and career. The 7th house represents relationships, partnerships, and marriage, while the 10th house signifies career, public image, karma, and status. This placement means that the person's life partner will have a significant influence on their professional life and public reputation. The energies of these two strong houses merge, creating situations where a person might meet their spouse through work, business dealings, or a shared profession. Marriage is not just a personal connection here, it becomes a part of one's destiny and professional path. This placement often leads to scenarios where people marry colleagues or someone from the same industry. The spouse is usually hardworking, career-oriented, and well-respected in their field. It is also common to see couples working together in business or professional partnerships. They might run a joint venture where one partner takes a leading role while the other contributes in a different way, but both are equally invested in the success of their shared efforts. This teamwork often brings financial stability, professional recognition, and a shared sense of purpose. The nature of the 7th Lord greatly impacts how this placement plays out. If the 7th Lord is benefic, the relationship tends to be filled with genuine love, emotional bonding, and mutual respect. In such cases, couples are emotionally connected and support each other like true soulmates. They are not concerned with social status or financial gain, they love each other deeply and unconditionally. This strong emotional connection becomes the foundation for a highly supportive and successful marital and professional life. The spouse becomes a pillar of strength who motivates and uplifts the native. On the other hand, if the 7th Lord is malefic, the situation changes. Marital life may become more about duty and obligation than love. The relationship might continue due to mutual dependence, not because of emotional connection. Disappointments in love and a lack of emotional fulfillment are common in such cases. Even though the couple may stay together, the relationship lacks warmth, and the emotional bond is weak. Still, the professional support may remain intact, and the spouse might help in career matters despite emotional distance. A beneficial 7th Lord in the 10th house also brings significant professional growth and social recognition, especially after marriage. This placement often leads to a rise in financial and career status following the entry of the life partner. The spouse plays a key role in this transformation, offering emotional support, motivation, and practical guidance. In many cases, people experience promotions, recognition, and success after marriage, particularly when their partner becomes actively involved in their professional goals. This placement also reflects a nurturing and emotionally mature spouse. Whether male or female, the partner is likely to be kind, caring, and emotionally intelligent. They may also share a strong bond with their own mother and could be someone who values deep emotional conversations and meaningful communication. These individuals are not interested in superficial relationships. They value loyalty, shared dreams, and a deep emotional connection. Time spent in honest and deep conversations is their love language, and this emotional engagement is key to maintaining a healthy relationship. The 7th Lord in the 10th house also points to a person who can benefit greatly from taking their spouse's advice in professional matters. In fact, this placement is very favorable for those who want to start a business with their life partner. The combined energies and shared vision make such ventures successful. Whether it's financial planning, career decisions, or business strategies, the spouse's input often proves to be valuable and insightful. Success, however, is not immediate. While there may be early signs of recognition between the ages of 20 to 30, true stability and major achievements usually come after the age of 40. This delay is due to the karmic nature of the 10th house, which matures over time. Patience, discipline, and the support of a life partner can bring long-term success and stability in both career and marriage. The person may also be advised to stay close to their homeland or birthplace to experience the best outcomes. Lastly, this placement creates a powerful emotional and spiritual synergy between partners. They become each other's support system not only in career but also emotionally and mentally. The relationship grows deeper with time, and the couple becomes stronger together. It is a beautiful combination of love, partnership, and karma where both partners play essential roles in each other's growth. If nurtured properly, this can be one of the most supportive and rewarding placements for both marriage and professional success. When the seventh lord is placed in the 11th house in a birth chart, it creates a powerful and fortunate combination for relationships, prosperity, and personal growth. This placement indicates that marriage will play a key role in helping you fulfill your desires and ambitions. The life partner is likely to be someone who is attractive, pleasant, and emotionally comforting. Just being in their presence can bring a sense of peace and gratitude, making you feel truly blessed. This person often comes from a respectable family background, with strong values, good manners, and a soft-spoken, kind nature. One of the most prominent benefits of this placement is the financial and emotional support that comes from the spouse. They may be successful in their own right and can be highly influential in improving your life, especially after marriage. Their success and stability often bring upliftment to your professional and social status. Your income may see significant growth, and your network may expand, especially if your spouse is involved in public relations, social work, or creative fields. Their energy and social connections could open new doors for you, making this a beneficial placement for career growth and public recognition. The seventh lord in the 11th house also suggests a karmic connection between you and your spouse. This is someone you were destined to meet, possibly to complete some unfinished business from a past life. Your partner will likely be someone who actively participates in your personal goals. They might be the main driving force helping you to fulfill your dreams and wishes. Even if you don't openly ask for their help, they will intuitively understand what you need and support you unconditionally. This deep, invisible bond can bring a sense of completeness and emotional harmony into the relationship. Marriage, in this case, can be a gateway to creative expression and personal transformation. After marriage, you may find yourself more inclined toward music, writing, or other forms of art, as the emotional support from your spouse encourages you to explore and express your inner self. Romantic interactions might feel special and meaningful, always carrying a touch of creativity or uniqueness. You and your partner might enjoy planning thoughtful experiences together, with an emotional depth that goes beyond routine gestures. However, this placement is not without its challenges. Although your spouse may be materially successful and socially active, their health might not be very strong. The 11th house is the sixth from the sixth, which can indicate health concerns for the spouse, especially during specific planetary periods or dashas. It's important to observe planetary influences carefully to understand when such challenges may arise. While these issues may not be constant, they do require awareness and care. Another complexity of this placement is its potential for creating instability in long-term relationships, especially if the seventh lord is weak, debilitated, or afflicted. In such cases, it may point toward the possibility of more than one marriage. If other planetary combinations support it, the native may face challenges in maintaining a single long-term marriage. These possibilities must be examined in detail with respect to aspects, conjunctions, and the strength of houses like the 6th and 9th. Despite these possibilities, the combination can still lead to a deeply fulfilling partnership if the planets involved are well placed or if there are benefic influences such as Jupiter's or Venus's aspect. These positive influences can cancel out many of the negative effects, reducing the chance of separation and promoting a healthy, lasting union. When these blessings are present, the bond can be very nurturing, leading to a strong sense of unity and emotional connection between partners. The spouse may also be older or more mature than you, not just in age but in terms of values and life approach. Especially if Saturn is involved, the partner could bring a grounded and disciplined energy to the relationship. This can create a stable and secure marriage, where both partners grow together over time. The spouse may also have a strong presence in your social circle, possibly even being admired or followed by others due to their personality, profession, or appearance. In summary, the seventh lord in the 11th house forms a powerful alignment that can bring love, success, and emotional richness into life. It is a blend of karmic connection, mutual support, and shared growth. While there may be occasional conflicts or health issues, the overwhelming emotional bond, loyalty, and shared ambitions between partners make this a deeply rewarding placement when supported by strong planetary conditions. When the seventh lord is placed in the 12th house in a birth chart, many people quickly assume it's a negative or inauspicious placement. But the truth is more nuanced. This alignment does bring challenges, but it can also bring spiritual depth, foreign connections, and transformative life experiences, depending on the overall condition of the chart. If a person is living in a foreign country or marries someone from a completely different background, like another culture, religion, or caste, this placement can actually support a fulfilling marriage. However, it's essential to assess the planetary afflictions and aspects involved before making any predictions. The 12th house represents losses, foreign lands, isolation, and hidden matters. When the seventh lord, which governs marriage and partnerships, moves into this house, there is a natural theme of separation. This separation is not always due to conflict or breakup, sometimes it's circumstantial, caused by career demands, living in different countries, or other responsibilities. However, if the seventh lord and the 12th house are afflicted by malefic planets like Saturn, Rahu, Mars, or the sixth lord, then the separation could be permanent, indicating possibilities of divorce or long-term estrangement. In many cases, the partner may have a solitary or spiritual lifestyle. They might work in environments that require isolation, such as hospitals, retreats, or even in nature, like working with wildlife or expeditions. These kinds of professions may demand physical distance from the native, creating emotional and physical gaps in the relationship. In extreme cases, this distance leads to disinterest in marriage altogether, especially when dry or intense planets like Ketu or Saturn are heavily influencing the seventh house or its lord. This can result in delayed marriage or even denial of marriage. Another layer of complexity is added when the spouse brings with them certain hidden health or financial issues. Since the 12th house rules hidden enemies, illnesses, and debts, the partner may be dealing with medical conditions that are not revealed until after marriage. In some cases, they might carry hidden financial burdens like loans or debt, which can disrupt the marital stability. That's why a financial and medical check of the partner becomes very important if this placement is present. This isn't about being suspicious, it's about being realistic and prepared. One common theme with this placement is recurring disputes and competition between the couple. Rather than working as a team, both partners may find themselves in a subtle power struggle, trying to outdo each other instead of supporting each other. If not managed well, this competitive tone can lead to ongoing conflict, misunderstanding, and emotional distance. These struggles don't always end in separation, but they can create an undercurrent of tension that makes the marriage feel more like a battle than a partnership. In charts where the seventh lord is not heavily afflicted, the outcome can be very different. The separation might still exist, but it could be temporary and situational, caused by travel, work, or family obligations. If malefics are absent or balanced by benefics like Jupiter or Venus in a strong condition, then the relationship can still thrive despite the physical or emotional distance. Sometimes the couple even becomes stronger by facing challenges together, especially if they learn to communicate honestly and build trust. There's also a chance of a flirtatious nature or the tendency toward extramarital attractions, especially if the seventh lord is in the 12th house with affliction and the native lacks emotional maturity. If the person gives in to this tendency, it can definitely lead to the breakdown of the marriage. However, if they are self-aware and control this behavior, the placement can actually offer spiritual growth and deep connection, especially if the couple engages in shared spiritual or healing practices. In many cases, this placement brings financial support from the spouse or their family. The partner might come from a wealthy or resourceful background and could provide material or emotional support during tough times. Still, after marriage, there might be a sudden misfortune or unexpected event, health issue, financial loss, or emotional trauma that tests the couple's resilience. These moments of hardship are not guaranteed to break the marriage, but they do require emotional strength and patience. Ultimately, the seventh lord in the 12th house is not a blanket curse. It is a karmic placement that pushes individuals to deal with deeper aspects of commitment, sacrifice, and growth. It demands maturity, honesty, and a willingness to understand the hidden layers of the relationship. If managed with awareness and care, it can open doors to spiritual connection, personal evolution, and even a strong bond with someone from an entirely different world. So there you have it, the seventh lord through all 12 houses. I hope this gave you real clarity about your relationships, your patterns, and how the energy of partnerships flows through your life. What you've just watched isn't something randomly generated by AI. Behind every line is deep study, real Vedic astrology, and a commitment to sharing ancient wisdom in a way that's easy to understand. But this is just the beginning. Your chart is unique, your journey is personal, and the seventh lord is just one piece of a much bigger puzzle. If something in this video resonated with you, or sparked a new perspective, I want to hear about it. Drop your thoughts, experiences, or questions in the comments. Let's build a space where we can truly explore astrology together. And don't forget to like this video if it helped you, subscribe to Taurus Astro for more content like this, and turn on the bell so you never miss an update. This channel is here to guide you, not just with information, but with insight. See you in the next one. Until then, stay aligned, stay aware.